Hello friends, welcome back to Bettina Libre. Today I want to talk about something that I consider very important and most of the time it's overlooked. This is sun exposure. It has come to my attention that many people are afraid of being exposed to the sun, and that comes from the fact that maybe their skin is too sensitive now because they are usually not exposed to the sun directly. So let me tell you something. Sun is medicine because sun exposure helps many processes in our bodies. For example, it helps regulate our circadian rhythm and helps with your sleeping patterns. Because during the day, the light of the sun will help your body produce serotonin. That is one of the hormones that make you feel good and regulate your mood. And during night, the lack of light, the lack of sunlight, will help you produce melatonin. That is the hormone that regulates your sleeping patterns and that helps you go to sleep, basically. So without enough sun exposure, your serotonin levels can dip, and that can create a major risk for depression and anxiety. And for example, in my case, when I was living in Canada, I experienced SAD, the seasonal affective disorder, because I was not getting enough sunlight. And even if I was getting sunlight, because when I was living in Canada, I was living in Calgary, that is one of the sunniest cities in North America, supposedly, I was not getting enough warmth from the sun. And for me, that I'm basically a plant, I need to have sunlight and also that the sun warms up my skin. And that takes us to our second benefit for sun exposure, that it helps us produce vitamin D. And I also want to take this pause a little bit to ask you to like this video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And it will help me a lot to grow my YouTube channel, especially for those that find it helpful. Please share with those that you think it will help them ease their anxiety, depression, or any mental disorder that they could be experiencing. So when it comes to sun exposure, it is recommended that you expose yourself from 5 to 15 minutes, and that is going to help you get some vitamin D from the sun, because the sunlight is going to help you produce all these processes in your body that your body is going to synthesize vitamin D. In my case, I would recommend more than that. I would recommend at least 30 minutes, but just be mindful that if you have not been exposed to sunlight in the past, you first have to prime your skin. And it also will depend on the location that you live, because for example, I live in Mexico for a long time until my 23rd birthday, and it is always sunny in Mexico. Sun exposure in Mexico, it's not a problem. It's very rare that it rains. We do have a little rainy season, but it's just in the summer and it rains for a couple of hours. And most of the day it is sunny. So when I went and lived in Canada in 2010, it was a big contrast for me because I was not used to it. And my skin as well got used to not having sun. And for example, I remember going back to Mexico in December for holidays, and we went to the pyramids. I was a tourist in my own country, and we went to the pyramids, and I was wearing a top like I have right now, and my hair up, and I was just so not aware that my skin was not ready again to take up that amount of sun, especially direct sun, and so strong. So we were there around noon, and that is the time when the sun is at its highest point, at least in Mexico, and it will hit you directly and very strongly. So it turns out that I even had a sunburn. Even if my skin, it's a color that absorbs or is more protected to receive the sunlight, I got sunburned. And it just was because my skin for so long was covered with clothes and it was not exposed directly to the sun, because I lived in Canada for 3.5 years. And after like 2 years, it lost its priming. So what I suggest to anybody that is going to expose to the sun, which is medicine, remember that, start little by little. Start with 15 minutes and also try to be mindful of the time that you are exposing yourself to the sun. Because, for example, if you expose yourself at noon, like I said, that it's when the sun is the most direct and the most powerful. So try to do it maybe around 4 or 3. And in that way, you are going to little by little expose your skin to it, and your skin is going to get primed. And that's it. And that will be it for today, for this video, guys. I hope you enjoy it. And again, I would love if you could hit the like button, share with your friends, and subscribe. It will help me a lot to grow my YouTube channel. And I do this with all my heart. And I hope that this advice and life advice that I have been gathering for some time now, it's helpful for you. And that is helpful in a way that you can manage your anxiety, depression, or any mental condition that you are dealing with in a natural way. So just remember, sun exposure is medicine. Don't be afraid of it. Just be mindful of your skin, the time and the duration. And I will see you until next week. Ciao!